Hey guys, welcome back to Kiwi Classics and Customs. We're back on CASPA on this episode. We've got to get rid of this rear quarter panel because you may have seen one of the earlier videos, it's been very poorly patched and not repaired properly around the wheel arch. So that's got to go. While we're in there, we're going to replace the outer wheel house. We're going to put a wider, like a 2-inch deeper inner wheel house. So we've got a mini tub in it. So we've got room for some nice big rubber in there to hang on to the Coyote. So what we're going to do is take it back to where the factory seams are. Now on these cars, the Fastbacks, they've got a seam that comes along about here, approximately. You've got another seam that comes down here, down to there. This is all spot in this vent opening. It's all spot welded around here. All that's got to come out. So we've got to trim all that away, all the way around there. Same here, it's all plug welded there. And down the front here, we'll just quickly hack that out. The trunk floor is getting replaced on this side, well both sides. So we'll just hack that out pretty quickly. We've got to let it loose inside the trunk opening, which we'll have to be a little more delicate with because we've got to reuse some of that. And yeah, so let's get cutting. Right, let's do this. Got my flap disc in here. We're going to grind off some of the body filler that was in here. We'll get down to lead and then we'll probably have to melt the lead out. I like using the flap disc on edges like this, the leading edge of the door. Basically you just grind down here on a 45-degree angle till you get through the sheet metal, and then you can pop it off, and then it's quite easy to then go along and pick the leading edge. Like this panel folds around, there's a little 1/2 inch fold around and it gets plug welded through there at the factory. So break it free down there, and then we just come along and break those spot welds free rather than trying to do it here and peel them back. It's much more difficult. Same around the edge, some of the trunk lid, around the back edge of the quarter here, we'll attack it, run a 45-degree, run the flap disc at a 45, and then same around the wheel arch, we'll do a 45. So yeah, let's get started. Got my earplugs in, got my Darth Vader mask. Let's have at it. Well, you're probably thinking, how do you know how far to grind? You can't really see it on camera, but as you're grinding through, holding this on a 45, when it starts to get really thin, it actually heats up and leaves a little blue line down the middle. And once you see that blue line, where the metal's so thin, it actually starts to glow and turns blue. And once you see that little line, that's all you need to do. You're not waiting to see air, because you'll end up grinding into the substructure, like the door jam here. So wait till you see a little blue line, and like it's really obvious once you start grinding. As soon as you see it, you go, that's what he was talking about, and just carry on down. Like it's still attached, but it's paper thin. So you just go down there with a little chisel or a panel splitter and we'll buzz that off. We'll do the same around here on this edge. Like I was saying, here we've got to grind and get to the filler where we'll need to melt it out. So let's have a crack at that. Again, unfortunately you're probably not able to see it on camera, but there's lead here and there's sheet metal here, and it's about 3 shades different. Like it's close, but you can see, and you'll also feel the flap disc like just digging in harder because it's so much softer. I don't want to sand any more of that off because we're throwing little lead specks into the air, and I'm sure most of you know lead's not real good for you. So that's kind of showing me the general area where the lead is. I'll get in there with a torch and melt that out. We've got the same going on here, and we can let this window go. face for a minute. Now, around here you don't have that 90-degree edge, so what I'm going to do is swap this out. Now, guys can only stand to watch me grind for so long, so I'm kind of showing you what's going to do the process. We'll cut away, I'll get the rest of it off, and we'll come back. The other part of the process you're going to need is a little cut-off wheel like this. For certain areas that you just can't access with the flat disc. Let's get this on here. Now you can take this as slowly as you need to go. Obviously if it's the first time you do it, you're going to be a bit nervous. So just sneak up on it, just do a bit at a time and check your work and make sure it's going alright. But having done a couple of these in my time, I kind of know what to do, so just get straight to it. So let's cut through here. I'm just going to put the blade right into this corner edge here and just release the panel down there. You want to be careful to just cut that outer skin, so don't just keep pushing in. You've got to keep moving along with it. You'll feel it when it goes through. It's quite easy to feel. So just keep working your way in. Flexing away there. Now obviously I've still got a bit more to do. I'm going to keep doing that. We'll be back in a second. Right, got the paint ground off, the leaded areas, got a bit more flat disc cutting, grinding done. Now it's time to mount out this lead. Just one little tip for you guys. You'll be able to see the colours in the flame, the kind of brighter blue, and then it changes right at the tip of those, the darker blue or the mid blue, before it kind of starts to fade away. That's the hottest point. People tend to get really close to their work, feel like the closer to the tip, the hotter it is. Actually not. The hottest point is right at the tail of that pretty blue, mid blue colour. So try and hold it, like an inch away. You'll be good. Pretty soon you'll see it just start to run. You can help the process with the wire brush. And to get it perfectly clean, you're just trying to get it to a point where you can see the factory spot welds. It's kind of cool actually. And do kind of make sure that you're in a fairly well ventilated area. It is a bit humid. I've got fans going behind me, so which you might be able to hear, and probably annoying, but hey, I've got to have the fans going, you know. What's it? That's pretty good. So, possibly now you start to see why it takes a long time to repair it, but replace a quarter. Just getting them off is time consuming. And I guess that's why the skins are quite popular. They're a little bit quicker to put on, but at the end of the day, a skin is never going to be as good as a panel that's joined, like reinstalled at the factory joints. That's where the factory, decided was the best place. Believe it or not, some of those engineers, even back in the 60s, were quite smart. Now, what you can see along here, you can now see all the factory spot welds, and also a few MIG weld tacks they put in as well today. Guess they were putting that in as they were aligning the parts. They tack it in a few spots and then come through and behind and actually spot weld with a proper spot welder. So here we got to get rid of these spot weld, these ones, and it's getting pretty close to coming off. So let me get drilling on these and I'll be back. Okay, so I've started drilling some of the holes for the spot welds. Now, when you're drilling out the metal, sometimes you can just drill right through, and that is when the piece of metal you're saving or retaining, which in this case is this panel that goes between the back window and the deck lid. This is remaining. We're replacing the quarter. Now the quarter is underneath this panel, so we can just drill through here like with a step bit and just make sure we get all the spot weld. So that's quite easy. Up here, now the roof is laying over the quarter, but the quarter is laying over the inner structure. So we don't want to drill too many holes right through if we can avoid it. So I've just done little shallow pilot holes, and what we'll do is we'll do the ones we can do with the step drill, where there's nothing underneath, just the panel that's getting thrown away. And then up here we'll use this little spot weld hole saw, and that will just go through and it will just take, you can just drill through and just cut this upper layer. So let's do that. So here's where we need to swap bits. Now these little puppies are quite expensive, so that's why I'll use the step drill bit where I can. And their lifespan is not great, they don't last a hell of a long time. But if you use this, you can see that's Slick Stick by Hugin. Some of you guys will have seen me use that before, and I've plugged it before, and the only reason I plug it is it's really good. Yeah, it will save you a lot of, the longevity on these like triples when you use that. So you're going to do all the spot welds, I'll invest in some of that. Now, it's probably enough of you guys watching me drill holes. I've got to go right down here because there's all spot welds on this pinch weld in the window opening, the back window opening. So yeah, let's get all these drilled out and we'll come back and start chiseling this thing apart. Alright, I think I got most of the spot welds released. What I'm going to do now is actually just use a cut-off wheel and cut a few lines here, which you'll see me do. And that's just to take these pieces of the quarter off in bite-sized lumps. Like trying to get it all wiggled off in one big piece is just more work than you need to do. So I just cut a few little points and then peel this bit off, and yeah, you'll see what's all will be revealed underneath it. I didn't have all my safety gear on, but it was just two quick little cuts. So cut me some slack, guys. Now this little chisel has an edge on the side as well. So what I'm going to do is slide it in there, just chisel it in through there where we've done that 45-degree grind. And it just opens up like a can of beans, honestly. It's the easiest way to do it by a long shot. That's still fairly well attached, so we'll need to get up underneath here. We've got a couple of cuts. And that's mainly because, or not mainly, it's only because this panel goes on before the roof, this rear quarter on the assembly line, and that gets welded. This part gets welded to the inner structure. Then the roof skin comes over, and they welded the roof skin to this. So I've still got to get the welds that are under this, like between this and this inner frame. So watch out for this. This is like razor sharp, man. And if I could feel anything through leather gloves, I'd probably wear leather gloves, but I really do like to be able to feel my work. So I'm going to run a little bit bigger cut here. And first bit gone. I'll run another quick cut along here, and we'll start peeling. So we'll just do the same deal on this little bit. You have to get a little brutal with it at times. It does not want to come off. Ta-da! Yeah, a few years of rust, very light surface rust under here from 60 odd years. There you go, we'll just carry on down now. So yeah, let's keep going. That's loose. You see it, that gap really popped open there. Good here. Oh, that's already just popped. That's how thin it gets when you see that little blue line that I was talking about. It gets thin enough that it will actually just pop all by itself. Now I did run the cut-off wheel on the bottom edge of this. There's always one little bit that you've missed. It's okay. It's all free now. Good grief, look at this. This lip that rolls underneath here, it's not been welded at all. Well, they put the skin on here. They've just slid it into place. There might be a tack here, I think, maybe. But that should have a plug weld or a spot weld probably every inch or so around there, and there's 4 inches of flange there that has nothing. Let's see what we got. Look at this. Seriously, check this out, guys. This is the lip that rolls under and is meant to have plug welds, spot welds all the way through here. And basically it's tacked on 1, 2, 3 places. And this is structural. Like this needs to be welded to the inner. It's structural. That is really bad, and just honestly, it's just plain lazy. It's not. They haven't even cleaned it. Like they had no intention of welding it. Frustrating. It's I hate to see such poor. Yeah, they did put a little bit of seam sealer in here to, so you couldn't see daylight. And that is honestly as much as they've done. What else have we got attached down here? We've still got a couple of little relief cuts to do. But yeah, as you can see, this quarter's pretty close to coming on. There's always, as I say, there's always a few spots that you don't quite see until you really get after it. They have a 16mm sheet metal holding down. There you have it. Whew. Now, this is a good opportunity for you guys to see just what they were up to when they put the skin on. This is the original fender here, this line. You can see it's just been hacked on. It's just, they haven't even done a nice cut to try and like butt weld or anything like that. Right down the bottom there. Do this without slicing myself open. Here, again, this is original rear quarter up here. This is where they've overlapped it. There's a Tech screw holding part of it on. Here there's probably an inch overlap in places. Here they've cut it too short and I've had to fill it. Just not the way it should be done. Yeah, it's the old thing. Oh, wait. There's more, because check this out. This, I'm guessing the outer wheelhouse was rusty, which commonly they are when the outer quarter's rusty. They've cut and joined it here. They've just not put a whole wheelhouse because it joins up here. They've put just this last little bit in, and they've cut it. And I guess here you've got like an 1.25 inch gap here, like just missing, and lots of gorilla snot spread over the joins here. So they cut it too short. They've put it up there and they've just tacked in another strip around here. The two lines you can see here, that's wheelhouse, that's wheelhouse. That's all patch panel inside. And that kind of swings around here. You won't be able to see it unfortunately, but it swings around here and there's actually no patch panel there, but they're just overlapped. But yeah, they couldn't even get that right. And there's just loads of ugly. Like they've just used tubes of seam sealer to try and hide their work. Yeah, it's just like, look at this. So that when you looked in the trunk, you couldn't see the. You can't even call it bodywork, can you? I'm not sure what you call that. But it's not bodywork. But hey, that's the quarter off. Now I've still got a bunch of cleaning up to do. Getting rid of these last little pieces that are hanging. This edge down here where it wraps around. That's the drain. If any of you guys out there own a Fastback, this drain, water comes in the little vent that's here, goes down into here, there's two little slots here, it goes into there and it falls into this trough and goes out through the drain hole. Well, after 50, 60 years, this rubber gets a bit brittle. And this one here, you know, that was in there, that was like, it was here. So yeah, it wasn't working very well. Any water that got in just went out here and it goes straight down into the inside of the car, gets all the carpets in underneath the back of the seat wet and the floor rusts out, which it had. So yeah, if you've got a Fastback, pop your inner quarter panel, you know, the covers off, the trim, unless it's been replaced by someone else, it's going to look like that. So if you're going to replace those, they make them, there's this little flares up a little bit. You know, they're available from most of the Mustang sites to get a new drain. Pop that in there, and you know, your car will continue to survive. So, yeah, I'm going to start cleaning this up. The next step's going to be cut all this off. I mean, I can't, like that just has to go. And then we're going to cut the inner wheelhouse out. And yeah, keep cutting. We've got to get rid of the cancer before you can start, you know, building back up again. This all has to go. This has all been badly patched and joined. There's bronzing or brazing here. There's rust in the rail that's been joined badly. So yeah, all this stuff's going to go. So I'm going to start working on getting rid of all that, and then that's probably going to be it for this part one of the new rear quarter. We'll come back with part two and we'll get all this cleaned up and I'll show you what to do. Alright, see you guys.